Okay, now this is first time we're doing this, okay? Now, I want you to put the greater than less than symbol so that it eats the 20. So it would be that way. Now, I want you to add 3 to each number here. 20 plus 3 is 23. 10 plus 3 is 13. So it eats the 23, okay? So there's no change. We didn't change it, so I'm going to write same, okay? Now go back up here and subtract 3 from each number. So 20 minus 3 is 17. 10 minus 3 is 7. 17's bigger. It's the same. From here to here, it's the same. Now divide each number by 5, okay? So 20 divided by 5 is 4. 10 divided by 5 is 2. It would eat the 4. Here, it's the same sign, okay? Now divide each number by negative 5. 20 divided by negative 5 is negative 4. 10 divided by negative 5 is... Now what's bigger? Negative 2 is bigger. We have a change, okay? So put change. When you divide each side of an inequality, the word inequality means greater than or less than, okay? That's what an inequality means, one of these symbols. When you divide each side of an inequality by a negative number, they will change, okay? Multiply each number by 2. So 20 times 2 is 40, and 10 times 2 is 20. 40 is bigger. It was the same, okay? Now multiply each number by negative 2. So 20 times negative 2 is negative 40. 10 times negative 2 is negative 20. Now negative 20 is bigger, so we have a change. So when we divide each number by a negative, there's a change. When we multiply each number by a negative, there's a change. Okay, remember that. Now there's nothing on the back of that. Now we're going to start the examples. Now, yesterday it was saying like x plus 5 and then there'd just be an equal sign with negative 3 and then we'd find the answer, okay, by minusing 5. But this is an inequality. Inequalities, there's an endless number of answers, okay? Endless number of answers. There was an assignment a couple days ago where you plugged in a number and you put whether it was yes or no. Well, you're going to represent all the yeses that are possible, okay? This is how you show all the answers, okay? You make a number line, you put a 0. Now there has to be another number here. Well, we're about to find where the number would start. Put a wall on the side of the x. Between the x and the 5 is a plus, okay? So if there is no times and if there is no dividing, put the word keep, okay? That means you keep that symbol the way it goes, okay? If there's no multiplying or dividing, okay? Now you take out your plus 5 by minusing 5. You take it to 0. And now the x is by itself. You need to line up the x where it's at, okay? On the side it's on. It's before the symbol, so you keep it before the symbol. Then negative 3 minus 5 gives you negative 8. Now, negative 8's one of the answers, and you fill in the circle because it has the line. If the line's there, you fill it. Now look at the board. Does this eat the letter or the number? It eats the letter, so it goes this way, okay? So on this number line, I want you to copy that answer. So x can be a negative 8 and any number that way. I could plug in any number that way. Now don't write this next. Here, I'll go to a piece of scratch paper. Don't write it down. I'm going to pick a number that way. Let's pick negative 5, okay? I'm going to put, so the original problem said x plus 5 greater than or equal to negative 3. So I said let's pick negative 5, okay? Okay, so I'll put negative 5 in for x. You can pick any number that way. Now there's no times, there's just adding. That would be 0. 0 is bigger than the negative, so it eats 0, so -5 works. Any number that's that way is a yes. Any number back the other way is a no. Okay, next problem. So where is the x? It's over here. It's after the symbol, but that's okay. Okay. Now we have our first times of the day. When you have a times, you want to circle it. Okay. You will need to circle it. If you haven't been doing that, you need to start. If you have divide or times operation, that needs to be circled. Now I'd like you to look at that times operation. Is that a negative or a positive? It's a negative. So you will switch the sign if it's a negative. If that was a positive 2, I would keep it like I did here. But a negative multiplying number needs to be switched. So after you circle it, write switch. So switch the symbol to the other way. Because remember from the first page, when you divide each side by negative, the symbol switches. And you don't have any plus or minuses to take out. So you divide by -2. Now your x is behind the symbol, so put it after the symbol. And then 8 divided by -2 is -4. You have to keep it lined up. Circle, fill it, and it eats the x. So that's this way. Even though that's a less than sign, x is any number this way. So just copy it now. Okay, next problem. X divided by -3 is greater than or equal to 8. So X is here. Do you have divided by? Okay. Do you have multiple? Okay, so right there's a divide. You want to circle the dividing like you do the multiplying. Do you have a negative in there? Yes, so that's a switch. So switch the symbol. So if you have divide, you need to times by the -3. Now is x before or after the symbol? It's before, so you keep it lined up before. 8 times -3 is -24. So we have -24, we circle, we fill it, and it eats the number. Okay, eating the number goes this way. So line that up. Just copy what you got. X can be any number that way to have a yes. Next one. -4x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 14. So the x is on this side. Now, what are your operators? Well, that'd be times, highlight it, and minus is plus negative. Now with your times, that's a negative, so switch, SW or switch. So that symbol will switch, okay? But we need to take out the -2, okay? We have that outside number we have to either add or subtract. That symbol will just drop straight down. It will not change when I'm getting rid of this, just when I'm dividing, okay? So plus 2. Plus 2. 14 plus 2 is 16. Then you execute your dividing. X, 16 divided by -4 is -4. Remember, the symbol switches when we're dividing by the negative. But if you put switch right there, you're good. So -4, you circle, you fill it. Eats the number, so it would be this way. X can be any number that way. This is why it's so important that if you have times or divide, you need to circle. See, on the first one, I didn't have either one, so I knew I was going to keep it, okay? When you have times and divide, you need to circle it, okay? Okay, let's keep it going. 3x plus 4 minus 5x greater than or equal to 20. Okay, here's the symbol. Now you have two x's. I need to simplify it so there's just not two different x's, or only a single x. They're on the same side of the inequality symbol, so we add, okay, with the v, that's a negative. So 3 plus negative 5, line up the symbol. 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2x plus 4, okay. Now, x is on this side. What are the operations? Well, you got a times and a plus. Highlight the times. Is that a negative in there? It most certainly is, so I switch the sign in the end, okay? Now, I do have this 4 I need to take out. So when I'm taking out the outside, the symbol just drops the way it is. Okay, it doesn't change when you add or subtract, only when you're dividing by that negative. So minus 4 takes us to 16, and then negative 2 times x. Then I divide each side by negative 2, and I have x in front of the symbol with negative 8 behind it. Circle, fill it, eats the number, so eating the number goes this way, eating the value. Means the value is bigger than anything x could be. Okay, next one. Well, you're going to need to multiply that, okay? So plus negative. So we'll drop my plus. 6 times 1x is 6x. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Okay. And over here you got your negative 18. Now, x is on this side. You got times 6 and plus negative 6. Now, you have times, but is that a negative number that you're timesing by? No, it's not. Okay. If that is not a negative, you keep the sign the same. You do have multiplication. You do have that operation in the problem, okay? But if it's a positive, the sign will keep the same, okay? Now, you do have this negative 6. While I'm taking that out, the original sign just is dropped. Plus 6, plus 6. Negative 18 plus 6 is negative 12, and then you have 6 times x. Divide by 6, and you have x. Negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2. Circle, but you keep it open because it doesn't have the line. It eats the number, so it goes this way. Okay, next problem. 3x greater than 5x plus 12. Well, again, there's two different x's, but this time they're on opposite sides. So you pick one of them to take to 0. We don't want to pick the 3x because there's nothing else over there, so let's pick the 5x. And this is just adding and subtracting, so we don't have to worry about the sign switching yet. 3 minus 5 is negative 2x, and then you have 12. Now, what operations do you have to the only x? Just a times, but it's times by a negative, so that's a switch, because eventually we will have to divide by that negative. And I don't need to put a sign in the middle, because there's nothing I have to add or subtract. I just go straight for the dividing. So we have x and then negative 6. You really need to highlight your times. So it eats the number. Eating the number goes this way, that way. Okay, next problem. 3x plus 5 less than or equal to 2x minus 8. Again, you have two x's in the problem, opposite sides, so I mark one of them. It's not going to matter which one I mark here. I'll mark this one. So it'd be 1x plus 5 less than or equal to negative 8. Okay, now that I have just a single x, what are the operations on that side? Well, we got a times and a plus 5. Now the times, there's a times, but it's by a positive, so keep it. Okay, keep the sign the same. There will be no change. Now we do have to take out the plus 5. Okay, so now I'm ready. This step will be when I get rid of the 5. This step will be when I divide by the 1, I guess. Okay, negative 8 minus 5 is negative 13, 1 dot x. Divide by 1, negative 13. Okay. Eating the number goes this way. Okay, let's keep it going here. 2x minus 5 minus 6x less than 15. Okay. Obviously, we got some simplifying to do because there's two different x's. They're on the same side, so we hook them up with a v. That means we're plussing them. That would be 2 plus negative 6. That would be negative 4x, then minus the 5, less than 15. Now, this is the only x I have. What are the operations we have with it on that side? You have a times and a minus. Make it plus negative. Now, your times is by a negative, so that is a switch. You need to switch it from less than to greater than. But before we divide, we need to take out the plus negative 5. So when I'm taking that outside number out, that's adding and subtracting. The sign doesn't change when you do that. Okay. Plus 5, so that's 20. Negative 4 times x. Then I divide by negative 4. 20 divided by negative 4 is negative 5. Okay. It's when you divide by the negative, it has to be by negative, that switches. From that first page we did. Eats x, so it goes this way. Okay, next one, get rid of that parentheses. So if you want to put a 1, that's fine. So draw your distributing property. Drop your plus, you take the negative 3 times 1x, be negative 3x, and negative 3, don't put 2, you got to take negative 3 times 2. And then 24. So this is the only x I have. What are its operations? Well, you got times and plus, okay? The times is by a negative. If that was a positive 3, I'd write keep, but it's a negative 3, so I write switch. So we'll switch when I divide, but first I got to take out the plus number. The sign stays the same when you do that. So plus 6, because it's negative 6. 30, negative 3 times x. So we have x, 30 divided by negative 3 is negative 10. You don't fill it, it eats a number, so it goes that way. Okay, next problem. Okay, you got two different x's. They're on opposite sides now. We don't want to take out the 8x because then there's nothing there. Let's take out the 12x. So 8 minus 12 would be negative 4x, and then 8. Now that we have this simplified so that x appears one time, what are its operations? Well, it's a times. Highlight that, and that's a switch. Okay. Okay, we don't have any number added outside, so we go straight into the division. Times is the only operation, so you have x in front of the symbol, negative 2 behind it. Eats the x, so it would go this way. Okay, next problem. 4x plus 8 greater than or equal to 6x plus 10. Okay, the x's are on opposite sides. It doesn't matter what you take out. I'll take out this one. Okay, so it's positive. To take it to 0, you would subtract it from the 6x. So I'd have 8, that's 2x plus 10. Now I have x over here, that's okay. The operations are times 2 and plus 10. So highlight the times, do something. It's positive though, so that is a keep, okay? You keep the sign the same. Now we do have to take out our outside plus number. So minus 10, minus 10. 8 minus 10 is negative 2, and then 2 dot x. You need to keep your x lined up where it's at. If it's after the symbol, that's fine, but keep it after the symbol. So, because that's going to screw up. If I switch it around, I'm going to be screwed up with what it eats. It eats a number, so that would be back this way. Okay, next one. 5 less than or equal to x plus 8. Okay, so x is on this side. I don't have a times or divide. Okay, it's just plus, so that's a keep. If you don't have a times at all, it's automatically a keep. You just need to take out your plus 8 and you're good. Okay, it's the only operation you have. So x will be by itself, but after the symbol. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. Circle, fill it. The lines there eats the letter, so that would be this way. X is any number this way. Okay, next problem. 5x greater than or equal to 35. So x is here. That's a times between those two, so when you have a times, you circle it, but it's times by a positive, so that is a keep. Okay. Remember from the first page, it did not switch when I divided both the 20 and the 10 by a positive. Okay, you don't have any number you have to take out outside, so you go straight for dividing. So 7, circle and fill it, eats the x. Okay. Next one, down to the last 2. There's only one number there. What's the, oh, it's divide. Just like times, I highlight divide, and if it's a negative, which it is, that's a switch. If that was positive 4, I would keep it, but it's negative 4, so switch it. You don't have a plus outside, so you go right into your times now. To solve a divide by, you times. So you have x before the symbol, negative 36 behind it. Circle, don't fill it, it eats x, so it goes this way. Okay, and the last problem. 15 greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 6. Okay. X is the only x I have is over there. That would be times, that would be plus. Highlight the times. Is that a negative on that times? It is. So I switch it because eventually I will have to divide both sides of the inequality by the negative. Okay? Switch. So that means the symbol switches. But we do have to take out the plus number. When I'm taking out the plus number, the sign does not change. Okay? 15 minus 6 is 9, negative 3 times x. So you have x, negative 3. Circle, fill it, eats the x, so it goes this way. Okay, that's it. You have 8 to do.